Hey everyone, I'm Mike Lowe, and we are here in Madden 24, but this time we're on the PC. We are using mods from the Madden Modding Community. If you haven't heard of that, give it a search, find their Discord, get connected in there, because it is awesome. It's completely changed this game, and in my opinion, it's the best I've ever had a Madden game playing. Probably even better than something like 2K5 finally. It's better than Revamp for NCAA 14 and all of that stuff. Really, really impressed here. I'm not going to go through every last little thing. This is a video to kind of just talk about what I've been working on, kind of putting this together a little bit. I am going to be doing a franchise myself with the Carolina Panthers, which, by the way, you're seeing Bryce Young here. He's one of the mods I installed here. It's like a Panthers theme that when I load up the game instead of the Josh Allen video, it goes through a really, really cool promo that someone in the community made for the Panthers. And there's a bunch of teams, obviously. And so I didn't want to play it because I think the music would probably get flagged by YouTube. But it's super, super cool. And that's just one of many. And I mean, I can actually go ahead and show you my little mod window here. So there's a couple things, right? We are using something called Madden Spark, and I may do a tutorial video. If you're interested, give the video a like. Give it a comment maybe about if you'd like some maybe walkthroughs on this. There's a ton of help already on their community, but this wasn't terribly difficult. If you can do revamp, this was way easier. And so you're going to need a computer obviously first that's going to run it, but again, that's going to be a separate video entirely. But what you're looking at here is a device called, or an app called Madden Spark, and this is kind of what activates the modding. It's the first thing you got to start up there and get going. From here then, I've loaded in these different mods. Now, you don't have to worry so much about this window. These are all the ones that I've loaded in, but these are the ones I've actually loaded into the game. If anything's checked here and on this right-hand side, they're there. So just in no particular order, I guess we'll work from the top, the lowest priority, and I'll explain priorities shortly. But basically, we have different snow apps that give you like real snow games, guys. Like, I mean, it is intense, super, super cool. I was able to hide the home field and momentum user interface, which I don't like to use. I turned off there's different presentations and whatnot, but from the game I'm going to be playing here shortly, I just turned that off for now. A tattoo project, which is incredible, gives tons of players tattoos, looks super realistic. Madden 24 Unlocked is a mod that kind of helps out with a lot of like different jersey edits and things like this. It gives you a lot more customization options. Is the best way to put it. It's not just jerseys, it's shoes, it's equipment galore. So super, super cool there. Cujo Matty Clean Complete is one that gives you a really clean screen. If you're someone like me who likes to keep that screen clean, you're going to be getting a clean screen. I don't even have like a player indicator. If you've seen my NBA 2K sliders, that's kind of how I have my game set up, where you don't even have a player indicator. Super, super cool, super clean. There's custom camera mods. I might even go back and play broadcast camera, that kind of thing. Of course, the two most important, in my opinion, are going to be Sabo's gameplay. There's also one called Sabo's franchise, but I'm using one called Start Today that has Sabo's franchise mod, which is different than gameplay mod, baked into this mod. But rest assured, these two, really, I guess, three, because Start Today is its own with, again, the franchise in it. Sabo's gameplay, Sabo's franchise that's baked into Start Today. The Start Today is the end of the season, by the way. All the stats, all the rosters, everything is accurate. Coaches, coordinators, it's incredible. So I've simulated the playoffs. I've already gone through the offseason with the Carolina Panthers. We had no first round draft pick. It's going to be still a tough year. And I'm already at the start of 2024, and it's just been freaking awesome to go through. I also have a couple mods. I talked about the Bryce Young one, the Panthers theme that I will try to show in a different video. But I also have one that says it removes the kick arc, so you won't have the kick arc when you're trying to kick. And kicking for men. This is the Bleeding Reds kicking for men, it's called. And that is basically, it just speeds up the kick meter. So it makes kicking a lot more difficult. So really, really, really cool stuff there that's going on. And again, like, guys, it's really, really cool. Oh, there's one more thing I wanted to show you too, and that's the Madden franchise tool. So this is called a Madden franchise tool. Inside of this, first off, this is like a totally different way you can display your franchise. And if it's a little small, I apologize. You can't maximize it. And I'm streaming this on my TV, so the resolution is a little crazy with this. But it's freaking cool. You have point spreads here. I mean, of course, you can go in and click on different teams. You can look at schedule, standings, stats, all of this stuff. You can, of course, edit players, which is something I've done. Like, I've actually edited using my QB injury app that I made a couple of years ago. I was able to go in and actually add in some random QB injuries. By the way, the franchise mod that's baked into that Start Today one has QB injuries happening. It's not as frequent as I would like still, so I still kind of do a little bit of manual. But it's awesome. There's a draft recap. So if you're wondering, hey, did the Bears take Caleb Williams first overall? They did. Drake May went third. And so Marvin Harrison dropped all the way to 6 and went to the Giants. And so if you're curious who my first round draft pick was, by the way, it's going to be the first pick of the second round. So we can just show you that really quick. But I mean, how cool is this that I could go back and look at this anytime I want? It looks great. We took Barrett Carter, left outside linebacker, so I can click on Barrett Carter. Takes me to his profile. I can go in here. I can edit him if I want. I can edit his contract, all of this stuff. These are all things that you can do when loading up your saved franchise. Now, I have a backup here saved, so it's not interfering with the game that I have open because that could be a problem. But rest assured, there's so much you can do. And again, this is how I was actually able to go in and edit like a player's injury. So you can just generate injuries if you don't feel like there's enough. Go ahead and come up with a system however you want. So super, super cool. What most people use this for, though, is this area here, your My Franchise tool hub. And so the progression tool, I'm not going to read all this to you, but there's a recommended tool schedule of when to use these and things like that. So just super, super cool stuff. And guys, it's like revitalized Madden football. This community has just done an awesome job. And if I load up the franchise, when I load the franchise, it's not going to look like super different right off the bat. It's not like you're suddenly playing some different game or it looks like Head Coach '09 or something like this. It's not. It's still Madden at its core. But you're going to just see a lot of different stuff set up. Like I don't think I can get into well, I can get into practice obviously, but like with the scouting, or I should say the training, your weekly training is a lot different. You don't have a ton of options anymore because this game no longer is using XP progression, the way that you have it in the game where you get like, oh, you had a good game, here's +1, where do you want to put it? That's gone. The progression, it kind of goes back to what Madden did like maybe 10 or 12 years ago, which I think is really, really cool. It kind of involves some dice rolls. And it was neat because it created some really unique things. Not everything is like perfectly linear. Like I did a test one and Bryce Young, again, he didn't have a great rookie year, right? He was sitting at a 72. And one of the test ones I did, he had a pretty good roll and he bumped up to a 76. And the one I actually went through, he didn't bump at all. He stayed at a 72. And so that was a bit of a problem. But I've seen cool things, which, by the way, the draft classes that are included in this is the last pick in the 5th round, Isaiah Davis. He's going to be starting for me today, by the way, because my starting 2 running backs are hurt. So we're going to have a 5th round, technically almost the 6th round. He was the last pick in round 5, starting at running back. And look, he's a 75 overall. And this isn't like, oh, wow, what a steal. Great pick, Mike. He's normal dev. But part of this mod is that it makes the draft picks realistic. Running backs come in rated pretty high. Now, you'd be thinking, oh, this guy's going to be like a 99. Probably not. He's a guy who's going to play. He's going to be a serviceable player for his career, possibly start for some teams in his career, and then that's it. And that's realistic. That's how running backs come into the NFL a lot. If you don't believe me, check out Bijan Robinson. Check out Jahmyr Gibbs. This is what happens. And so, again, undrafted rookie. I signed this guy in a test sim before. He bumped up to like an 80 or something crazy. So you would have like these miracle halfback, rookie players just kind of coming out of nowhere. And it's not overdone. You're not going to see it everywhere. You can see I signed a couple free agent receivers. Jonathan Mingo, who had star development, didn't really move up. He only moved up 1 point. So again, he's just kind of a little bit like Bryce Young. It's been a little bit underwhelming so far. Coker was an undrafted rookie receiver. I was hoping would maybe take a bump. He didn't, but he made the team at least. Tight end is a cool story. So I had nothing at tight end. We ended up signing, I think it's Jonnu Smith. But in the progression, Tommy Tremble, who's already in the team, passed him. So I mean, technically kind of wasted a little bit of money here because he's now my backup tight end, but it's always nice to have 2. And of course, we drafted Cade Stover out of Ohio State. I forget what round he was in, but kind of a mid-round, maybe 4th or 6th round. Let me check that because now I'm curious. So again, of course, real players. Yeah, he was our 6th round pick, 4th pick in the 6th round there. But so you're going to see really, really cool stuff. You're going to see injuries. I mean, holy cow! I see a ton of people in the Discord for the Madden Modding Community complaining about injuries. Oh my gosh, there's too many. There's too many. And people are adjusting some sliders and that sort of thing, and that's fine. But to me, the injuries are realistic. If anything, they're probably still too less. I mean, this is how things are looking. By the way, did you see that? Suspended right? We have suspensions. Now, again, that's just an edited injury, but still super, super cool. It just creates some different storylines there. You're not going to see that in just kind of your standard Madden. But injuries to me, I mean, you're going to have some injuries. You're going to need depth. I love it. I built my team for depth. I didn't spend, I mean, we did spend in free agency, but I didn't go through and just sign only the best players or the players with 99 speed or anything like that. You can't do that, right? Derrick Henry, by the way, out for the year, it looks like. So huge injury there. Caleb Williams is an injury that I generated with my app. So kind of the storyline there. One of the things that the franchise mod does, it updates the trade block realistically. So after they picked Caleb Williams, and you'd never see this in regular Madden, they put what's his face? I'm totally drawing a blank. They put Justin Fields on the trade block. So super realistic. They took him off when Caleb Williams got hurt. So again, super, super cool stuff. I unfortunately can't show you kind of the edits they did, and it's really, they just locked up some things in the weekly trainings, but I love it. It just kind of keeps it simple. I let my coach decide that because I'm an owner here. I try not to mingle too much. I don't really set the depth chart very often. I let the coach do that. Same thing with the plays. I let the coach call the play. I run the plays. I mean, I'm still playing the game. But again, some really, really cool things there. I love the way progression's done. You'll see that the news, especially if you use the start today, the news is updated, so it's actually like relevant stuff. I think moving forward, it kind of goes back to the default things here. But still, it's and that's a credit to Madden too. It's just out of the box. It's a little bit better this year finally, which is nice. But what's cool is even if you don't want to see this stuff, you can just load it up in that other app I was showing you, that smaller window, and you can navigate around a ton of different things. Trades are a little bit better now. They've been cleaned up a little bit. You're going to see some things. You'll still see some weird things like Dredrick Wills got traded twice in like a span of a week there. But I don't know. That stuff happens. It certainly happens in other sports. I remember Mike Piazza, that happened. He got traded, to the Marlins for like a week or something like that. So, crazier things can happen. But you're going to see more than just like the 6th-round pick being traded for like a backup linebacker or something like this. One thing you still won't see, unfortunately, is position changes. But again, I do think Madden on PC, I'm noticing that the AI is a little bit smarter with, I guess, like putting players in the right position, even if they're an outside linebacker and they weigh 270. I mean, they're putting them on a line if they're in the 4-3. So it seems to be a little bit smarter. What's really cool too is I can go in and look at the prospects. Now again, I've already had the 2024 draft, but check this out. Here's the 2025 real life draft. This is included in the start today. There's also one for the 2026 draft. Just ridiculous. So again, didn't take a ton of work. It's not easy. Like I said, you will need to spend a little time getting this set up, and you're going to need a computer that can run it and that kind of thing. But this is freaking cool, guys. This is really, really, really awesome stuff. Trying to think what else to even show you if you're curious to see kind of how my franchise went in that simulated playoffs. The Niners won the Super Bowl over the Bills. I'm really hoping that's not the Super Bowl this year. We know it won't be the Bills, but my Lions have yet to play the 49ers here at the time of this recording. Yours truly is considering going to the game still. We're still looking at tickets. That's a whole other video. Coach of the Year, though, Dan Campbell. So, again, all of these things lining up there. Puka Nacua with the Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, again, these are based off real-life stats, so that makes perfect sense. Really, really cool that stuff's just baked in. Huge shout-out to the guys working on that stuff there. It just looks awesome. So, you'll see, trying to think here, like the XP sliders, you might be freaked out. You'll see they're all at 0, but again, because they're not being used. And so, again, that's baked in. There's some things when you look around, it's going to kind of make your eyes pop a little bit, and you just have to kind of understand like why it is that way. Gameplay sliders, people are going to ask me, they're at default. I haven't touched these because the game has been tuned under the hood. And I know that sounds like some like sorcery stuff that people throw around, guys, but it's true. Inside, under the hood of this game, there's a lot going on. And I don't dabble in that stuff. I have not really dabbled with like under the hood stuff with Madden, but people in the modding community have, and they have completely changed this game. And that's why I want to get to some gameplay here. But the gameplay just feels different. There's no more of this arcadey linebackers jumping to intercept everything. You still get punished, but the game is smart. Like, and it's I'm paraphrasing here because I don't know exactly what it looked like under the hood. But when I was reading in their Discord today, they're talking about things like they're able to like just toggle things that like the game had that they just deactivated. So like the AI is much better now in this mod at picking up on my tendencies. So if I keep doing the same stuff, or in third and long, I'm always running the same play, it's gonna know. It's gonna know my schemes. If I'm always running on third and one, it's gonna know, and it's gonna crowd that line. And so they've been able to like activate and toggle some of these things that have been off in the past, or have been off for the past few years, and have really just changed the way the game has played. And so, I talked about a little bit about some of these other mods, and I'm trying to think. I don't know who offhand has like tattoos, so forgive me. I'm not a big equipment guy. I'm older than a lot of you guys playing this game, so I'm just trying to think here. Who would have some tattoos? I have no clue. But anyway, let's see if we can just find anybody who's got some tattoos going. So Lamar Jackson. Now, some players, I believe in Madden, have like their actual tattoos, but certainly not everyone. I don't know. Let's just jump into here and just see if we get some other people. So Zay Flowers, again, I have no idea if he does or not in real life, but you're seeing that, and like just the fact that I can just kind of click around randomly on a couple guys, and you can see if these guys have tattoos. It's pretty cool. So that's one of the mods there. There's tons of different mods. I only have a handful of them installed, so just really really cool stuff. But real quick, I wanted to just kind of go over, before I got into the gameplay part, I wanted to just kind of show you the rest of that roster that I was putting together here. In case you're curious, I like to talk. Usually I would start with the off season. I thought about starting the series there and just kind of talking through my off season, but it was kind of uneventful because I didn't have a first round pick, and I didn't want to spend deep, meaning I didn't want to. I should say I didn't want to like spend on just like one or two players. I wanted to build depth, and that's something that we really, really tried to focus on here. Again, you're not going to see, this was our third round pick maybe. I know I really wanted to get a center. Shout out to Frank Ragnall, by the way, Arkansas center. I was proud to pick a center out of Arkansas there, fourth round, first pick there. And so, let's see. Yeah, so again, the line, nothing crazy going on. We did sign AJ Epinenza, and he had a nice bump. He was like a 75, and so he bumped with that progression that I ran in preseason. He bumped up. We picked up Braden McGregor in the draft out of Michigan. I think he was our sixth round pick. Well, we had two sixth round picks. Derek Brown, of course, Leonard Floyd to give us some depth there. We transitioned back into like kind of a more traditional 4-3. And so really Brown's kind of a defensive tackle for us, along with Fletcher Cox. And not a lot of depth after that. Barrett Carter, our second round pick there, our top player basically, first pick in the second round. Liked him a lot. He is a hidden dev player. I hope I don't spoil anything there for anybody, but if you're looking for an easy find, there you go. And let's see, what else? We have Brian Burns, of course, playing mostly on the edge for us. Some good cornerback depth. Here's an interesting guy. This is an undrafted free agent. Picked him up. Actually, I didn't pick him up. He was still a free agent. We ran progression, and he was sitting there. But I always like to sim a week because I like to give the AI teams first dibs. Otherwise, it's way too easy just to go and grab these guys, especially after you run the progression tool, because the AI won't sign players like in the middle of the week. Only you will, right? So I waited until the second week of the preseason, and he was still sitting there, so we grabbed him. I didn't feel bad. Denzel Burke was our third round pick out of Ohio State, so got a pretty nice cornerback room there for sure. Jason Simmons had a decent bump, I believe, in progression. We signed Terrell Edmonds. Riley Patterson we signed. Daniel Whelan. So, again, nothing crazy there. We finally have a first-round draft pick for next year. But, guys, these mods are so cool. You're not even really getting, like, a full feel for it until you try it yourself. You will just notice. A lot of them are subtle, especially with the franchise stuff, but you'll feel it. You'll feel the teams being more intelligent when they sign free agents. You're going to feel them being more aggressive with free agency. It was hard. I lost out on a lot of players I was going for. The draft was competitive. They were smart. I believe now that I'm in my first full season, because again, I started this start today at the playoffs, the game's going to be a lot more intelligent with trading even draft picks and things like this. So they're going to start to position themselves more intelligently. It's just really freaking cool. Super, super impressed. But I didn't even show you this part. There's real coaches you can hire. So I hired Lincoln Riley out of NCAA, right? He is now our head coach. Kept our coordinators. Can look around and you can see that there's going to be, Jared Mayo is in the game. Of course, he was just recently hired. Antonio Pierce, in there as head coach. And so you're going to see, like, I don't know if the Lions, I'm curious if they had their coordinators leave or not. So Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn both stayed in this universe, that they were available. They were available for me to hire. I did not. I'm trying to see if there's some other changes, like Seahawks have a new coach, of course. So some of these are going to match real life, not all of them. But yeah, super cool. D'Amico Ryans, of course, already in the game. Brian Greasy was hired as the head coach of Tennessee. So that's pretty cool. They did not hire the guy, the Bengals coordinator in real life. So get some new coordinators with the Bears. So super cool that that stuff's in there. Just, again, super impressive. It's one of the first things you'll see in that start today. So as I mentioned, I've just gone through just a few of these mods, really, right? You're not going to see these until I get into gameplay. I'm trying to just make sure I didn't miss anything. You won't see the clean screen until then. Maybe I'll download one of the presentation things for you to check it out. But yeah, this is, I mean, just really, really cool stuff, guys. Super impressed. You're going to need to make sure you have the proper specs for this game. Just by chance, I had a super old computer. Like, I was using like my gosh, like a 12-year-old computer. And so I actually built my first computer. It was the first time I've ever done it. So I got some help there from the Madden Modding Community. Huge shout out to the Bleeding Red, who helped me a tremendous amount. And I want to shout out the game that he is helping develop, which is that Varsity, I think it's called Varsity Football or something like this, but it's like a high school video game that I believe is going to be on console and PC. It just sounds freaking cool. If you haven't looked it up, it's something like that, Varsity something or other. If you just look it up, they have a Twitter account that's super active, and they're always sending out updates. So I wanted to give him a shout out and also thank him for the help with that. But I built a computer, first time on my own, completely built it. It worked the first time I turned it on. I couldn't believe it. And so with that, I was like, you know what? I've heard about this Madden Modding community. Maybe I should check this out now that we have a machine that can run this stuff. So super, super cool. Definitely check it out. But I'm going to split this video up. This was kind of the video just kind of going over some of the franchise stuff that's out there. And guys, we just scratched the surface. There's still a lot more that we can do when we actually have a full off season with a full draft, and we can go through that all together. So definitely like the video if this was helpful. If you have questions, let me know. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I'm going to be streaming some more. This is the first stream I've ever done off the new computer here, so pretty cool. I'm sitting on my couch in the front room this time. New headset, just kind of letting it rip here, and it's been really fun, and I'm excited to connect with you all on this. So, but we are going to do a gameplay video after this. But again, thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Mike Lowe. I'm on Twitter at MikeLowe47, and definitely check out that Madden Modding Community. I will see you next time.